Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over some new Yu-Gi-Oh! Official rulings that have come out for the new Lost Sanctuary structure deck. This is obviously an OCG, so we're going to go ahead and use the organization for the translation. I'm just going to go over the ones that would be considered a little bit more obscure or a little bit more not known, I would say, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. So anyway, starting right off with the Master Flare Hyperion over here. So this card over here is going to be able to actually copy another monster, but the question is, if a monster also says that like this card's name is this and it's a once per turn for that effect, can you use that monster's effect and Flare Master Hyperion's copied effect of the name if he has actually changed his name? And the answer is no. So basically this guy goes over a scenario where he has Celestial Night Lord Parshath and a Master Flare Hyperion that has gained the effect. So he's copying the effect of Celestial Night Lord Parshath to be able to activate whatever effect if you're copying the name of, any monster that says like a once per turn, because this card has the effect where you get to send an agent monster on one card that lists Sanctuary in the Sky, and then its name becomes that monster's original name, which is different than some of the interactions, because Prisma and other Yu-Gi-Oh cards that would copy name, they might not say like original name, and that makes a huge difference in some rulings. But for the most part, all that matters is like if the monster's effect says like you can only activate with the effect of like one of the cards per turn, and it specifically says that card's name like a hard once per turn, then him copying does not actually let you do that. So the answer is no, because he goes over the effect over here. It says between Celestial Knight Parshath and Master Flare Hyperion, they gain the effect of the names. You can only use one of those cards with the way that it's written. So sorry, can't do it. Anyways, the name of the second one of the Celestial Knight Parshath with the second effect of it and its own effect of the second effect written in its text, can they be activated during the same turn? And the answer is yes. But for the full explanation, I'll just read the effect of this. So this card has multiple effects, but you can discard a card to add the Sanctuary in the Sky, or one card that's specifically listed in its text from your deck to your hand. Or if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you get to add a fairy monster instead. If a face-up fairy monster you control is destroyed, is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, actually. You can banish one fairy monster from your graveyard to special summon one fairy monster from your hand whose level is higher than the banished monsters. You can only use each effect of Celestial Knight Lord Parshath once per turn. And as you guys can see over here, it says in this scenario, they can be activated during the same turn. So I know it might be confusing, but welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh, right? The next one that I want to talk about actually has to do with Guard of the Agent's Moon. It is actually going to be an effect that is a cost. So there's an effect, I should just go over the effect of the card. So it lets you tribute a fairy monster, then target one card your opponent controls and you destroy it. You can only use each effect of it once per turn. This is a cost. I know, again, sometimes it just comes down to like the way that it's written in the OCG versus TCG, but this is just confirmation of some of these things. Next up over here, this is Sacred Water of the Sky. So this effect over here lets you add a card. Let's just read it. So lets you activate one of them directly from your deck, the Sanctuary in the Sky, and then you instead can add a monster that specifically lists that card in its text from your deck to your hand if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard. And then you get to gain some life points, and if the agent monster you control or a monster that's specifically listed would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, and you can only use each effect about once per turn. Now, important with this is this part of the effect where it banishes itself from the graveyard does not start a chain and can be applied in the graveyard. So that's like the important ruling with this. Again, I'm trying to go over this a little bit fast because we got a lot of rulings here, and it can get quite complex. Next up, Majesty Hyperion. This is a card that will definitely see some play. So the effect that special summons it is not classified as an ignition, trigger, quick, or continuous effect. Special summon this card with this effect does not start a chain. So in order to special summon this, you banish one agent monster. So again, because it does not start a chain, this obviously really helps out. This is basically in their favor for most of the time, unless you're trying to like chain block or do something weird. But yeah, that effect does not actually start a chain. That's the only important part with this one, I would say, that I do need to mention. Again, a lot of these I'm just going over fast, but next up, with Sanctuary in the Sky, I do got to go over this effect, so it does make sense because no one really played the card, because it does have another effect other than being named Sanctuary in the Sky, but it's battle damage to the controller of a fairy monster. Battle involving that monster becomes 0. The question is, what if I have the Majesty Hyperion out on the field, as well as the card and my attack position, Majesty Hyperion, which has 2100 attack, battles my opponent's monster with 3000 attack, what happens? So in this scenario, Majesty Hyperion makes it so your opponent would take all of the damage, but since Yugioh in the sky is on the field, no one takes any damage involving their fairy monster. Now, if your opponent's monster is a fairy monster, neither player takes any battle damage, but if your opponent's monster is not a fairy monster, only your opponent would take the damage. So in either case, yeah, it gets destroyed by battle. But then it gets more interesting when you happen to have multiples of these. So in this scenario over here, they make it so each player controls a Majesty Hyperion, and their effects that make the other player also take any battle damage their controller takes from battles involving a fairy monster are applying. In this situation, what if your Majesty Hyperion battles your opponent's attack position Master Hyperion, which has 27. In this scenario, only the effect of your Majesty Hyperion is applied. So each player takes 600 points of damage. And then when your opponent also takes battle damage due to the effect of Majesty Hyperion, the effect of your opponent's Majesty Hyperion will not be applied to that battle damage. But now a quick word from our sponsor. And this video is brought to you by a LEGO Ideas creator making a Yu-Gi-Oh themed set. If you guys want to see this become real, visit the page down below in the pinned comment to go ahead and vote for free ASAP to bring this project to life. Alright, next up though, we have the Agent of Life Neptune. So this part of the card's effect does not actually target. So this card has the effect where you can discard one, you can discard this card to special summon one the agent monster from your hand or deck, and then the Agent of Life Neptune, but it cannot be tributed until the end of your opponent's turn. If Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can just special summon one Hyperion monster instead, and if this card is banished, you get to add one Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. Now the important part with this effect, going over it, this effect does not target. You just get to instantly select the monster because it's from your hand or graveyard, so therefore, yeah, it does not target, which in most circumstances would be a benefit for the deck with this. So that's just like the important part with this. And then also the effect that adds it can be activated during the damage step as well, where it adds the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand is a trigger effect that can activate when it is banished. So that's kind of good for that. Note over there. And then on top of that, we also have the Lost Sanctuary. So this is the Lost Sanctuary. This is a new continuous trap card, and it has the effect of when this card is activated, you get to set one Sanctuary in the Sky or one spell/trap that specifically lists that card in its deck directly from your deck. Now this card's name becomes Sanctuary in the Sky while it's on the field or in the graveyard. You can banish one fairy monster from your graveyard, then target one effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. You can only use each effect of the Lost Sanctuary once per turn. So two things that are important. The effect that treats this card's name as Sanctuary in the Sky does not start a chain, and it applies on the field and in the graveyard. And the effect that negates the effect of an effect monster your opponent controls starts a chain and can be activated while this card is face up in your spawn trap zone, but you also banish one fairy monster from your graveyard as the cost to activate this card's effect, and the effect targets one face-up monster, which, yeah, it should be like noted there because it says specifically on the card for it that where is it? You can target one. It specifically says target, so yeah, it's just good that that is out there. And then for the Executor of Hades Paludo over here, this card has the text where it's always treated as an agent card. This is actually kind of important just in case someone negates this card's effect. That effect does not actually apply to the card, as in you will be a-okay if they happen to negate the card's effect and you want to do something that either copies or it requires you to have an agent banish it, whatever the case may be. That effect cannot be negated no matter what. It's just always treated as that card. So that's an important thing for certain situations if they were to, let's say, negate this card's effect. But anyways, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for the rulings. Let me know, guys, what you think of them. Are any of them super weird for you guys? Did you guys learn anything? Because some of them are a little bit more interesting than others for sure, but it's always good to keep up to date with Yu-Gi-Oh! Rulings, as this is a very complex game. But anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it. If you're new here and want to be up to date on new Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and rulings here, make sure you guys subscribe with the bell notification on, and you'll definitely see more very soon. But take care. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.